Yo, what's happening, fam? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation, my friends. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to just take out an hour of your time to tune in with your boy. That's right, Arrington Gavin here at the show. Look, we have some great conversations lined up for you within this hour. Um, it has been said by the man himself, Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp, that hey, he might have a part two of a sit down with comedian Katt Williams. As you can recall, the beginning of 2024, Katt Williams, man, he tore the place down with a viral sit down interview with the Hall of Famer on his hit podcast, Club Shay Shay, where the comedian shared so many dirty deeds. I'm talking, he went after everybody in Hollywood, in comedy. Some stuff you can question, some stuff you can say, man, this man is lying. And then, hey, it was things that folks was like, you know what, he could be on to something. Um, Obviously, it had huge backlash amongst other folks, but it made Club Shay Shay one of the most watched podcasts. They won countless awards, made tons of money, and really because of that one interview, Club Shay Shay and Shannon Sharp, they had to change, in my opinion, the theme of Club Shay Shay, the theme of his show, because initially it was more like just the common, um, hey, I sit down with entertainers within sports, music, every genre, and we just have a conversation. But Katt Williams changed the method, right? Katt Williams made it to, okay, we're gonna make this the spill the tea kind of podcast, the stuff that's always shared on social media has never been brought out to any. Obviously, cable networks will never go that far. They will never I would say allow that kind of conversation that they had on on cable TV. So it was like, okay, look, I got an exclusive. And because of that, it boosted his career, it boosted Katt Williams' career. And so yeah, they're in talks of having a part two of that sit down. I'm like, geez, Louise, the interview alone was like 3 hours long. So they're talking about a part two. I'm like, okay, this is it reminds me of what is it? When Kanye West was on the Drink Champs, right? That was a part two. I only watched the first one because the first one was like 4 hours. I'm not watching no 8 hours of Kanye, better known as Yay. Like what is wrong with that dude? Anyway, also our I won't say our fearless leader, but our current president Donald J. Trump recently had a briefing in talking about the recent plane crash that occurred in the DC area. That it was a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American airline plane that was on a normal routine. The helicopter was having a normal training route, and all of a sudden it collided. A lot of lives were lost. So folks were looking forward to maybe the president can bring some peace into our uh to for everybody, right? But we all know who this who this guy is. He's not the man of peace, right? uh a lot of us that dislike him want to see him succeed. Not, I won't say succeed, but we want to see him do good, right? Because any effects that he has that's a fail, look, it affects everybody that lives in the US. So in a sense, hey, I'm hoping he does good, right? Because that will bring effect to me. If he does bad, it's going to bring effect to me. Okay. So he had a briefing and it had a lot of heads turns. I've watched a good portion of it. I'm gonna share some highlights on the program later on. And then if we have some time, I would like to also discuss the consistent decline of MSNBC. MSNBC, you consider the left leaning, well, it is a liberal network, right? But it has the most progressive views when it comes to cable television, right? Since CNN has always been left, but they're starting to become more centrist. They're trying to push for centrist ideology. Still, you have your left leaning, but they bring on conservative figures, independent figures. They're really trying to find that way. But a rising network is News Nation, right? News Nation is an up and coming new is an up and coming news network that has been established for quite some time. It hasn't been 10 years yet. It definitely hasn't been 10 years, but they are continuing to grow. They just recently became a 24/7 news network where they have weekend coverage. Trying to at least compete with the CNN and MSNBC. Fox News obviously is the top tier. They average they average like a million or two on a daily basis, right? So you can already assume how much they gain on a monthly basis. So those are going to be some stories that we're going to share later on in the show. So look, stick with us. We got a lot of great stuff in store for you all. As always, multiple ways you can tune into the program. We drop new episodes Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, available on all digital and streaming platforms, right? The streaming platforms of YouTube and Rumble. So do me a favor, follow us, subscribe us on those two platforms, YouTube and Rumble. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up. You can give us a good comment, give us a bad comment, I don't care, as long as you're engaging with the channel. That's all that matters for me. Also, if you happen to be an avid podcaster that loves to listen and tune into podcasts, guess what, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. We're available on all major podcast platforms: Apple, iHeart, Odyssey, Spotify, you name it, you can tune into the program. Yeah, is that simple. And in addition, you can also listen to us on the FM airwaves with our partners over at WDJY 99.1 FM, straight talk out of the metro Atlanta area. We air Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. on their stations, as well as online at WDJYFM.com. So multiple ways you can tune into the platform. Let's see here. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. We're going to take a quick commercial break, my friends. Don't go anywhere. Again, you are tuning in to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. Look, do me a favor. If you're currently watching or listening to us, follow us on our social media platforms. Yes, follow us at the Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, formerly known as Twitter, and also Substack. Substack is a platform where I call it a public diary. Issues and things that just go off the top of the dome, and I just rather type it out. Look, I will type out paragraphs. I might type out a full-on article in a sense like that. It's a cool platform, and I really enjoy it. So look, check us out on Substack. And yeah, we got some great content going on there. So I appreciate it, my friends. If you do follow us on our social media platforms, because it's hard to keep everything within this hour. Let's get it going with our fun fact. We always have to do fun fact of the day, a tradition here on the program that we enjoy doing. On today's fun fact, did you all know the shortest war in history lasted only 2 hours and 30 minutes? So I did some deep diving with this fun fact because a lot of the facts I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting, right? You know, I remember one fun fact I shared on the program was about a squirrel. The misconception about squirrels uh, uh, hiding their like hiding a nut, like a squirrel in a nut kind of thing, a pine nut, something like that. So this one right here, I'm like, okay, let me do some deep research. Right, this is just 2 hours and 30 minutes. Is that true? So I end up doing research, and actually, this is a first in history here on the program. The fun fact says 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, I've looked up the shortest war in history. It's saying it lasted around 38 to 45 minutes. Okay, that war was the Anglo and Zanzibar War of 1896. It says here that the war began on August 2017, 1896, when the British Royal Navy bombarded the Sul- Sultanate of Zanzibar. I'm mispronouncing these words like I'm a royal palace and harem. Says here that the war was fought after the death of Sultan Hamad bin Tawani, who was pro-British. I'm not going to get too. It says here that the war resulted in over 500 defenders dying, compared to one of British Marine who was injured. So the shortest war actually was a max of 45 minutes. Could you believe that? I feel like we're always in war. So to hear something saying, "Hey, this war lasted 45 minutes," is like, wow, too good to be true. Too good to be true. Um, Let me move out from it. Let me digress from that and get it going with our first story. So, as I mentioned early in the show, Katt Williams and Club Shay Shay, yes, they are talking about having a part two of a sit down on Shannon Sharp's hit podcast, Club Shay Shay. Katt Williams, controversial comedian, very talented guy, continue to sell out arenas on a regular. Is known for being controversial, not just with his jokes, but the fact that he is a guy that tells everybody's business, right? To me, he seems like the ultimate untrusted friend to have, right? You can't keep a secret worth a damn. Like, you tell everybody my business. And then he turns around and is like, well, I'm here to tell the truth. I'm here to tell the truth. Mm, I'm I make more money than a lot of these guys. They just never it's never shared, Shannon. Like, how he talks. Um I'm currently actually out of town on a work trip, so my accents are not as sharp as they normally are because it's been a long day. But anyway, you know how Katt Williams talks, little man with a perm. Anyway, so he takes shots at everybody, specifically another comedian and actor, Faison Love. Right, I played a clip a while back when he was on a red carpet, when Katt Williams was on the red carpet, and he said, "Look, I have a huge farm with a lot of animals. Yeah, I got a pot belly pig named Faison Love, and I got this and that named after celebrities." And I'm like, wow, why does the pot belly pig have to be why his name got to be Faison Love, right? So let me go ahead and share this clip with you. So recently, Faison Love was on a radio interview, and the host brought up the name of the radio show was actually called The Morning Hustle, based out of the Atlanta area. Um, and Faison Love, Faison Love had was given his thoughts, his response on, Katt Williams could possibly be having a part two. What else can he say about the folks he already spoke about? I mean, he spoke about Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Faison Love, Steve Harvey, um, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart. Who else did he talk about? He didn't. Did he speak about Monique? No, he didn't talk about Monique. He didn't talk about Dave Chappelle. He did not talk about D.L. Hughley. Who else did he talk about? It was a slew. But let me go ahead and play the soundbite for what Faison Love had to say. I thought this was quite interesting. Hold tight as I find this clip for you guys. Let's see here. There we go.
So we're keeping everything cool, everything great. The Katt Williams situation you're putting behind you. You're putting that behind you. I saw you talked to Nick Cannon the other day. You talked about piecing things up.
Listen, I do stand-up comedy. I love doing this business. Katt Williams has a beef with me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like he calls me a pig and all this. But when Kathy first came into business, we welcomed her. Hey, what's up, kid?
Yeah.
You know, and Kathy has always. I wish Kathy all the success. And
but think about it though. Who can dance? Columbus can dance. He can sing. That man, he's a triple threat.
Okay, so we ain't piecing up nothing this year.
Well, no, listen, it's nothing to piece up. It's just he has, like, you saw him do what you call a show, right? What's the
Shannon Sharp?
Oh, Shay Shay.
Shay Shay.
People really think that was real. What he said was real. Are you one of those people?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably one of the only people that didn't listen to the interview. I've seen the clips. I've heard what he said about.
I knew
people.
you were smart.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't have 3 hours to sit down and listen to one.
Maybe this. I don't understand.
So that's just me. But like, I know people sent it to you, and I know you didn't happy about it. Couldn't have been.
I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
it's out of random. He just. You know, even Shannon said, "Why you face I caught it straight? I'm not even worried." Yeah. But he's in love with me that much. No, really.
Yeah.
Kathy loves me because he's afraid.
Yeah.
He sees how I really get out. I mean, I remember one time he got Suge Knight to so-called beat me up. I'm like, come on, bro.
You fought Suge Knight?
No, I've been knowing Suge Knight.
I was about to say, that's
we partners, but he don't know how we get out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And Brittany Sarpy, boy. I mean, that girl. You catch on the soaps every day.
That's you know, they said he has a second part coming out with Club Shay Shay.
I bet he does. But he ain't gonna tell. He ain't gonna tell the truth. Like, if he said he was summoned by the Illuminati, well, won't you tell us what they look like? Won't tell us their names? Are you Illuminati?
I might be.
I don't even believe it.
You don't?
No. Illuminati, the richest people in the world want some poor people to have sex with?
Okay. I do believe in cults. I do believe there's cults.
Yeah. Being a little short gay comedian is a cult too. I mean, if your name is Katt Williams.
So we're keeping everything cool, everything great. The Katt Williams situation you're putting behind you. You're putting that behind you. I saw you talk.
So look, Faison was, I wouldn't even say he was gently throwing shade, right? I don't know if you've heard, he continued to address Katt Williams as Kathy Williams. He kept on saying Kathy Williams. Boom. One shot. Then, he basically said, he's into men, and he talked about his height. So he took his jabs. So it's going to continue to be just an ongoing beef between, which honestly, beefing is so petty specifically when it comes to celebs, right? Now I understand if you have your dislikes amongst people. I'm just an ultimate friendly guy. Now, don't get me wrong. There's folks where I'm like, okay, this person gets on my nerves. I'm not really gonna, affiliate myself with them or hang with them and all that. They get on my nerves. But keep that to yourself. To me, when you start putting it out to the masses and now you want the world to know, oh, I publicly dislike this person and I'm explaining why. Because see, now your fan base or just people in general that is like, okay, I was looking to check out a comedy show that Faith on Love was headlining, but because of Katt Williams said this, I take it back, or vice versa. To me, that's petty, y'all. That's petty. You guys are grown men. Y'all are grown people. Y'all are very successful. Why continue to make that a part of your brand? I tell you why. Because that is branding, right? Having public feuds is all a part of branding. Specifically, the Hollywood, turmoil, the Hollywood beef. That is a part of branding. It's petty, but it's a part of branding. Another thing I'll throw in before I move on to the next story. I feel as though when comedians have feuds or beef, to me that sucks because folks look at comedians as you guys are our uh recovery tool, right? We witness, if we were into the news, we're seeing all this heartache, all this sadness happening. Okay, we leave work, we're pissed, we don't like our job, we're exhausted. So it's like we have all these things, and then when we come across comedians, we're like, oh, let me kind of recover myself by watching something that makes me laugh just to kind of boost up my spirits. Now we basically see that, oh, the comedians have beef. Well, now I'm like, well, I don't feel as as happy now. My favorite comedians are beefing amongst each other, or just comedians in general are having arguments and fights and this and that. So it's petty. I'll be honest, and I've said this many moons ago, but the Club Shay Shay interview with Katt Williams, I really wasn't a fan of it. Like I said earlier, I was 50-50. Katt Williams could be saying stuff that has truth to it, but he can also be making up lies only to just give himself more notoriety. Because hey, smart business people that's been doing it for a long time, they know, look, I only do arenas, so I need to continue to sell tickets in arenas. He knows his demographic. His demographic loves feuds, right? They love the ratchetness, they love the beefing, they love the arguments. So he's like, let me continue to be on brand and cause more havoc. You know what I mean? Like Katt's always been a controversial comedian through his jokes. So when I watch the whole thing, I'm like, you say that you never promote your shows just automatically sell out. Dude, you've done radio interviews, you're doing a podcast interview right now. That's a form of branding, that's a form of promoting. So that's a lie, you just got caught up right there. Then he's criticizing folks who are somewhat using the "it's not what you know, it's who you know." He's accusing comedians of stealing jokes. He's accusing this and doing that. And I remember on another podcast that I co-hosted with some friends, where one of my co-hosts, Ciroc Fox, he is a comedian, and we both had the back and forth because he strictly said Cedric Entertainer is not talented. Why? Because he got caught up in a couple of times where he was when he stole someone's joke. So he's not talented to me because all that fame and stuff he now has, that's someone else's. And I said, well, okay, he was wrong for if he stole jokes. Boom, that's one. But you can't say this man has not earned his way in the entertainment world. He's done movies, he's done TV shows, he's done it all. That is all him. You're telling me this man stole everything from somebody? Give me a break. That right there is hogwash, okay? That is blasphemous. So that's the debate we were having, and that's the debates that Katt Williams started up around the barbershop. Because a lot of people, they enjoy Katt. I enjoy Katt. I never got to see him in person. My wife and I, we attend so many comedy shows. We attend more comedy shows than we do concerts. Katt Williams is somebody that we've never yet to see. Are we rushing to see him? No. Am I curious? Hell yes. So we never know. It could be It could be a moment where we catch Katt Williams. We've seen all the greats, except I still need to see Dave Chappelle. That's somebody on my bucket list that I'm dying to see. But as I said before, we will follow up and see if Shannon Sharpe will have a part 2 interview with comedian Katt Williams. I will be very curious to check this out. Let's see here. We're gonna digress from this story and we're gonna move it on to another. Let's see here. Let me actually move it on to the liberal media, legacy media, hitting a decline. So as I mentioned earlier in the show, MSNBC, CNN are not seeing high rating numbers. The channel that is seeing is Fox News, which is the conservative leaning network. You have the premier stars like a Sean Hannity, Greg Gunfeld, who is considered like the king of late night, which is insane because he's not funny at all. You have Jesse Waters. You have the show The Five. So many programs, so much success happening over at Fox News. Then you have the little engine that is continuing to fight hard and grow is News Nation, right? News Nation is owned by Nexstar. They are a station that just became a 24-hour news network. They have been promoting their network with leaders like a Chris Cuomo, who not recently, but he was a star from CNN. He was let go. He's a brother of former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. He's the son of former New York Governor. What's his what is his name? Anyway, his father was also a former governor, and so he's a great journalist. I'm a huge fan. He's since he had left CNN, or since he was let go from CNN, he started his own podcast called the Chris Cuomo Project, where he continues to promote free agent, right? Not a Democrat, not a Republican, not an independent, but a free agent, right? Because he advocates that the two-party system is broken. It's never going to solve world's issues. I totally disagree. I mean, not disagree. Excuse me. I totally agree with that. The reason why is because we live in a world that is a melting pot. Diversity, which means diverse in ideas, which means you're not going to succeed with just one value of views, right? You're not going to succeed with just Republican views. You're not going to succeed with just Democratic views. You're not going to succeed with third party views, libertarian, right? Green Party. You're not. You got to somehow bring it all together as one. And let's talk about these ideas. So the reason why I bring this up is because recently it was a article reported by Deadline discussing how Fox News posts big gains to top the January ratings. MSNBC and CNN see signs of viewer return following post-election tune-out. Now, the channel that they're not mentioning is News Nation. News Nation had recently topped MSNBC, I believe, in the January ratings, specifically for weekends, which is a big deal because News Nation is still very lower tier as far as money, revenue, things of that nature. But they succeeded last year by hosting a debate, right? They also succeeded prior by bringing in names like Dan Abrams, like Chris Cuomo, like Anthony Banfield, even bringing in contributors like a Geraldo Rivera, Sean Spicer. The list goes on. Bill O'Reilly. I mean, the list goes on and on as far as big notable names that has joined the News Nation group. I tune into News Nation on a regular. I like them because they promote unbiased news. Now, even though they promote that, there is a lot of their journalists and anchors that they still, to me, slide towards a certain bias. For example, Leland Vitter is the host of On Balance. Great show. great journalist. He came from after serving many years as a correspondent or contributor for Fox News. Okay, boom, he was there for so many years. He's bringing in his expertise that he had for Fox News. You have I'm Marnie. No, not Marnie. Oh my goodness, not Marnie. They have an anchor that is the host of their morning show called it is called Morning in America. Good Lord, Arrington, you're having a brain farce today. And her name is let's see, News Nation Morning in America. Excuse me, Marky Martin. Now, great journalist. She is the leading face of Morning in America on the weekday mornings. Her sister, her identical twin sister, works for the Trump administration. Identical twin, your twin works with the Trump administration and works with Trump very closely. Tells me your views are a little bit swaying. If it initially they, when they started that morning in America, they had a larger group of people. Adrienne Bankard, who used to be on Good Morning America, she hosts her own, I think, like 2-hour weekend show, News Nation Now, Saturdays through Sundays. She used to do Morning in America. Then she went on to do more special reporting. She does a side podcast on the platform. So again, they have great names. They advocate for unbiased. They still, in my opinion, like I said, have folks that are pretty biased but fair, right? Bring up fair scenarios and things like that. So I enjoy them. But yeah, they are slowly but surely seeing a boost in their numbers now. As I continue to read this article reported by Deadline, it says here that Fox News averaged about 1.92 million viewers, up to 53% compared to MSNBC's with 506,000. All right, down 34%, and then 421,000 for CNN, down 9% in the demo from 25 to 54. CNN is, come on, they're lower than MSNBC, but MSNBC has an audience, right? You have the far left with MSNBC, you have the far right with Fox News. One thing that I will say, and Fox News doesn't win on high ratings because of their credibility. They win because guess what? They have the old people demographic. Old people that are news junkies, they're going to tune into Fox News. All the adults are going to tune in to Fox News. Now, when you get CNN and MSNBC, that has more of the younger people that is engaged in politics, but that number of young people engaged in politics is not as large as adults. So you're gonna see, and then on top of that, Fox News, they own every damn thing. They own everything. They have streaming, they have digital space, they have cable, newspapers, multiple newspapers. They have it all. You hear me? They have it all. But they are winning when it comes to ratings. And I mentioned on the last show that CNN, they're trying to continue to shift around to see how they can be more of competitors. They've lost a long time journalist and anchor, Jim Acosta, who was there for about 18 years. When he heard that he was getting pushed from his 10 a.m. 1-hour show to a midnight time, he's like, oh no, and I'll have to move to the West Coast. Hells no, I'm not doing that. Nope, that's not happening. So it's an adjustment. I'm liking the back and forth and the creativity to say, okay, who is how we're gonna do this, right? How we're gonna fix this, how we're gonna make this work. How we're going to compete with Fox. It's just, to me, it's just so interesting because there's days where I watch all Fox News. There's days I watch all MSNBC news. There's days I watch all CNN news. I alternate, or News Nation. I alternate when it comes to my news coverage. I'll watch the Young Turks, TYT. I'll watch let me see. I'll watch Mediaite or the Don Lemon show. Like I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm always alternating my views when it comes to Salem News Channel, right? Conservative, progressive, left leaning, you name it. I'm watching it all. I'm watching it all. But I will say this, my friends. The digital space is what's the future. That's what's taking over. You hear me? I said to you, no, I'm joking. But that's what's taking over the gonna be taking the news airwaves and things like that nature. It's digital, not cable, digital, streaming, podcasting, YouTube shows, live podcasts or live radio shows. That, my friends, is the future, specifically when it comes to news. People look at short term clips, short video clips on TikTok. Any form of streaming. That's what the future is, my friends. So I'll say this: continue to educate yourself and don't just rely on 30-second clips, because these 30-second clips does not give you details of stories. All you see is headline and that's it, but you don't read the fine print. And do me a favor, read the fine print, because we all know when you don't, bad things can happen. Okay, when it comes to contract signing, read the fine print. Read it. Read it. All right, my friends. Don't go anywhere. You are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll have some more on the program. This time, we going to talk about Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump, 47th president of the United States of America. We'll be right back. You're tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Remember to follow me on all social media platforms, okay? Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Substack, all the Instagram pages. Not all the Instagram pages, all the social media pages. Please continue to follow me. I truly appreciate that. All right, my friends. Next up on the program. So I mentioned on the last episode, we were all very distraught when we heard about the recent crash that happened in the DC area that involved a Black Hawk helicopter and a plane that is with American Airlines. And just to kind of give you a little backstory, so the says here that an American Eagle flight 5342 operated by PSA Airlines was en route from Wichita, Kansas to Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Washington, D.C. Now, during the final approach, the aircraft and Bombardier CRJ-700 collided midair with a U.S. Army Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. Now, the collision resulted in both aircrafts crashing into the Potomac River, leading to tragic loss of all 67 individuals on board both aircrafts, right? I think it was around 60 people on the airline, 4 crew members, and then you had members of the military on the Black Hawk helicopter. Now, the crash occurred in one of the nation's most congested and tightly controlled airspaces. Investigations are underway by the Federal Aviation Administration and the Pentagon to determine the cause of collision. Now, the crazy thing was recently our President Donald J. Trump had a briefing. So it was his first briefing in his as 47th president during this administration, during this term in 2025. And you would assume that he would bring some form of peace, some form of like, okay, look, let's all, for one, thoughts and prayers go out to the families. Let's bring more unity and not have so much back and forth, right? Don't make this political. He made it political. But let me play you this soundbite from former Olympian professional figure skater Nancy Kerrigan, who was speaking on behalf of, there was, it ended up finding out that it was a team of U.S. figure skaters and a coach that was on that plane. They were a part of this member of 60 folks who were involved in that crash. Two teenage figure skaters, their mothers, and two world champion coaches from Boston were among the 14 members of the skating community killed when an American airline flight had collided with the Army helicopter. So here's a little bit of what Miss Kerrigan had to share about that.
Everyone here has been saying is not sure how to process it.
I got less than 20 minutes.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Which is why I'm here. Many of you may know my husband's my agent, and he keeps getting calls to do interviews, and I thought that was weird. I didn't feel like it was right to be home and doing interviews for this. So I called Elin. I'm like, what are you doing? I think we just all need to go together. And she said, let me call my mom. And so we're like, okay, we'll meet you in an hour. And we just wanted to be here and be part of our community. I've never seen anyone love skating as much as these two. And that's why I think it hurts so much. And I mean, everything. Tenley's always here supporting the kids. And anytime I've been able to be here and watch them grow, the kids here really work hard. Their parents work hard to be here. But I feel for the athletes, the skaters, their families, but anyone that was on that plane, not just the skaters, because it's just such a tragic event. And we've been through tragedies before as Americans, as people, and we are strong. It's respond to it. And so my response was to be with people I care about and I love and I needed support. So that's why I'm here. And I don't know, a little bit at a time. I think it's a shock. I wasn't woken up in the morning and saw it. I was watching like all night. So I probably look tired, but, and then when you find out, some of the people on the plane is even a bigger blow. We just wish them well, and like the families, the courage and the strength to make the next steps. I don't know how you look at people go through tragedies and you wonder, how do they do it? I don't know, but we're so strong. Somehow we have a reservoir to dig from, and each one of them are strong enough to get through this. Somehow it will take time, but look beside you. There's somebody that cares, and I don't know, tell people around you that you love them because you just never know. Don't forget to say it. Everyone.
So y'all, right there, you see that humility that Nancy Kerrigan had brought to those reporters, right? She wasn't out there blaming how could this happen? She was just first thing and foremost, she was like, look, I was up watching the whole thing. Right now I can just think for the families, keep that courage going, keep them prayed up. Like she was bringing positivity to the issue, to this tragedy that just occurred. So we have a sitting president. Okay. We have a sitting president who did not do that. Okay. So let's see here. We have about less than 15 minutes into the show. And let me just play for you some of the viral moments that he spoke about during his briefing. It was very on brand, by the way. It was very on brand. I said on brand for a guy like Donald J. Trump. It's hard for me to even call him Mr. President. Like he never acts like a true leader, in my opinion. This man's almost 80 years old, by the way. No, he's petty. He's an extreme petty individual, and he will never ever be a leader, in my opinion. A leader of negativity. That's what I'm talking about. Let me play this for you.
The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run the Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. The Department of Transportation, his government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity. So I had to say that it's terrible. Then it's a group within the FAA, another story, determined that the workforce was too white, that they had concerted efforts to get the administration to change that and to change it immediately. The FAA, which is overseen.
So right there, he started playing the blame game. Something he's been doing since he has started to make attempts to run for political office. Like he's always been doing. That's in Trump fashion, is playing the blame game. So right there and there, he's putting the blame on Pete Buttigieg. First of all, sir, you're the president now. You're in charge. Why continue to talk about the past, talk about the future, talk about current? Don't talk about like why this is already a bad time to start playing the whole it's because of DEI is why this happened. It's because we didn't bring in the right credibility folks. I mean, give me a break. So that's one clip I want to share with you all. Here's another where I know Caitlin Collins. Well, let me just go ahead and play it for you.
On DEI and the claims that you've made, are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power. You have to go by psychological quality. And psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden. And Biden went by a standard that's the exact opposite. So we don't know, but we do know that you had two planes at the same level. You had a helicopter and a plane. That shouldn't have happened. And we'll see. We're going to look into that. And we're going to see. But certainly for an air traffic controller, we want the brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior. And that's what we're going to have.
On DEI and the claims that you've made, are you saying this?
So right then and there, he can never answer a question. You make accusations, you get pressed with the question, and you give us a BS answer. And by the way, when he was talking about Pete Buttigieg, Yes, he did not say BS. He said the full term. Live television, by the way, some leader. Here's with his defense secretary, newly appointed defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, who, in my opinion, why was he hired? I don't know. He's a former Fox News, I guess you could say Fox News personality. He's not a journalist. He's just a anchor that speaks in front of a teleprompter. This is what he had to say. So after all those accusations, right? He was another Fox News personality who's now in charge of some position. Don't get me quoted. His name is Sean Duffy. He's a former congressman. They both were just kissing the ring, kissing up to, their fearless leader when they got up there. And it's like, you're absolutely right, Mr. President. Oh, you're so right. Everything you said, I agree 100%. Me. Here's what Pete Hegseth had to say after all that turmoil. Check this out.
But I also wanted to give an update on the tragedy that happened last night here in Washington, D.C., and provide a little bit more information as we are actively working to investigate and understand what occurred and why. At about 8:48 last night, a UH-60 assigned to the U.S. Army Aviation Brigade in the Military District of Washington, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, collided tragically with a civilian airliner. The unit involved, the Army unit involved, was Bravo Company 12th Aviation Battalion at Fort Belvoir. It was an annual proficiency training flight. And when we look at the crew, and not all kin have been notified, so we're going to withhold ranks and names at this point. We do know on our side who was involved. It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles. The 12th Aviation Battalion, as of now, is granted a 48-hour operational pause on contingency missions as what happened is reviewed, and a senior level aviation team, an investigative team from our Aviation Safety Center was deployed last night and already is in Washington, D.C. to investigate what's going on. We anticipate that the investigation will quickly be able to determine whether the aircraft was in the corridor and at the right altitude at the time of the incident. As I mentioned, next of kin notifications are ongoing. It's a tragedy, a horrible loss of life for those 64 souls on that civilian airliner, and of course, the 3 soldiers in that Black Hawk. They're in our prayers, their families and their communities as people are notified. I can't imagine. And I know it's gone from a rescue mission to a recovery mission, and we're with all the first responders that are moving actively too. So at the Defense Department, our thoughts and prayers go out. We are actively investigating to find out what happened and why. And as we get updates, you will have them. God bless.
Oh, so he's trying to all of a sudden butter up the audience after looking like a straight tool, him, the president, the whole staff, because right then and there, what did he just say? He said that the crash involved obviously military operatives that was on training. I'm sorry, members of the military, members of the Army that were highly trained, right? They were experienced. He said that after the president bashed, saying, "Oh, this is why you got to hire people who are truly talented geniuses, who are of merit, who are highly qualified. These folks were underqualified. This is a whole this is what you get for doing the diversity hiring and this and that and the other." Like, I mean, come on, dude. You literally told on yourself, and you trying to cover up by speaking very low, say they were fairly qualified, they were fairly experienced. Like, dude, don't say that behind closed doors. Tell that when you have a briefing. Tell that to your boss. And see, this is the issue that we all talk about, is the fact that it's politics over the people. Don't make it political. Make it about, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do about the families? What's happening, y'all? What's happening? Last clip before we end this show. Last clip. They had asked the president. One of the reporters had asked the president, "Look, are you gonna by any chance going to visit the crash site, because this is now a private investigation. They're not going to be removing a lot of stuff right now. They're continuing to find more victims, and the plane, Rebel, all that stuff, that's still in the water. So guess what your boy had to say. Let me go ahead and give you that clip right there.
Families of the victims of the plane crash.
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site, the water?
Or to meet
You
with
want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders down there?
I don't have a plan to do that, but I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families, yeah.
Families of the victims of the plane crash.
I don't want to comment.
My man said, I don't have any plans. What do you want me to go? You want me to go to the plane crash? When we go to the water? What do you want me to swim there? Common sense, y'all. This man is not educated at all. Did those folks swim the whole time to get Look, they do have boats, sir. They have boats that can take you there to view the site. They didn't see, he's so he's not even sarcastic. He's such a, I can't even say it right now. So arrogant, truly just a heartless individual that continues to make it all about him and blame. And once again, I say this all the time. How do you vote for somebody? How can you continue to say, hey, look, I want to help bring unity to this country, and he's the guy for us to bring unity? How? He's the guy to only benefit one side of not just the political aisle, one side of the race aisle. Ooh, did I go there? I sure did. Because why? Ever since he's been in office, he's criticizing diversity. DEI is not just strictly of African American skin. Diversity, it happens with all folks, people of color, minorities, women, okay, of all race. Like, he continues to find himself in hot water when it comes to the race talk. He's never apologized to the now exonerated five. He questioned Obama's citizenship because of his middle name. He's called KKK members so-called good Americans. He's continued to repost social media posts from white supremacists and the whole nine yards. Like, I'm telling you, it's a lot, my friends. It's a lot. But look, we're coming to that time. And as always, thank you so much for staying with us for this hour. I'll share a little bit on I'm starting to do bonus audio clips on our podcast platform. So be sure to continue to tune into those. Follow us on all social media platforms. Continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays, available on all digital and streaming platforms. As I mentioned before, YouTube, follow us, subscribe, hit the like, share with a friend. Also on Rumble, do the same. Follow us, subscribe, share with a friend. You can listen to us on all podcast platforms as well as on our radio affiliate, WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. Peace and blessings, fam. Y'all take care. God bless. And I will see you next time for another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out. Peace.